Okay, I got challenged, or tagged I should say, by Ranger Joe to do another period instruction. So to go along with my boiling with rocks, we're going to make a water filter. And basically what the purpose of the water filter is not to make it 100% drinkable, but is to make it more palatable, remove some of the nasties, floaties and whatnot in it, and make it taste better is the main advantage to it. Because overall the best thing to do in the woods without any other man-made filters would be to boil the water. It makes it safe to drink, but this just makes it taste better before you boil it. So that being said, there's various ways to make it, but today we're going to use this clear plastic bottle, mainly because I'll be able to show the different layers in it. But other things that you can use would be a shirt sleeve, BDU pant leg, a stuff sack if you're in a pinch, tree bark rolled into a cone, like those of you that have birch bark available to you, or other barks that work as well, bamboo, river cane, well, you get the idea. But one thing on the containers themselves is taller is better than wider, simply because it forces the water through more media than if it was wide. A couple other options, you've probably seen it in Air Force 64-4, where they use a tripod method with, in the book they show parachute material suspended in 3 different layers. Another variation on that is to use like plastic bags. And it seems like everywhere in the world these Walmart sacks are showing up, but you just put your media into the plastic bags, and that's why I've staged them this way, was to show that. I don't have a big enough tripod to demonstrate the method, but you'll get the gist of it. All you would basically do is use the handles and suspend them over one another in series and be able to do it that way. So anyway, on with the method I'm going to show. With the bottle, a cap is preferred, but it's not 100% necessary. But for today's demonstration, our container has a cap on it. So what first thing you want to do is we want to put a small hole in the bottom of that cap. You can use your knife blade, what have you. Just another great thing for the Swiss Army knife awl, where it excels. Drill a nice quick hole through there, get out any debris. You don't want it very big, you want it to drip through, you don't want it to flow through. So got the hole in the bottom. So now next thing I want to do is I want to cut out the bottom portion of this. Again, farmer to the rescue. This one has a slight lip on it, so we're going to cut down a little bit. Okay, the bottom removed. So from here I'm going to build my filter. Before I get any further though, I want a way to suspend my filter. So I'm going to tie some of this mason's twine on there. Now there's other ways you can suspend it. You can support it with sticks itself, or rocks or whatnot, but today we're going to use a small tripod. So double half hitch. Don't want it too long, just due to the method I'm using today. now the vessel's ready. Like I said, we've got the small hole placed in there, so the next thing is we want to place something in the bottom to keep our media from one, clogging up the hole and coming out. So there's a couple different things you can do. You can take some of the green grass, take it, kind of pack it in there well, right down in the bottom. Like I said, that keeps our media from coming out. So the charcoal, the fine gravel, and sand. The next thing I like to do then is put a couple larger stones in there, and that keeps it from clogging up itself. So when a smaller piece of rock or whatnot gets lodged in that hole, so put a couple of them in there. Now, the next thing the way I do it is then I'm going to put some small gravel in there. We'll just go ahead and use the bottom of that to help. You want to keep out as much debris as you possibly can. It's just something that can clog up or contaminate it. Okay, so I got my layer of gravel in there. Next, I'm going to put a small layer of sand. And you want to pack this in there pretty good, because you don't want it to flow straight through. You want it to have to seep through all this. So you can use your hand or a stick to just kind of tamp it in there. Okay, all that good. Now the next thing that I put in is charcoal, and this whole filter can be made in a pinch just using the charcoal, in my opinion. It seems to be what improves the flavor the most. And what I've got here is activated charcoal or fresh charcoal. Same stuff you use in pool filters and aquariums, but it's pretty easy to produce. You know, basically get a good fire going, a good hardwood fire, and get some nice coals going, and then bank your fire. By banking, I mean cover it with dirt, ash, so that it's oxygen starved and quits burning. Then wait several hours or up to a day until it's cool, and then break it up into basically river rock sizes. You don't want giant chunks of it in there, because it's not going to flow through it, it'll flow around it then. So being that, in my opinion, the charcoal makes up most of the filter, I'm going to fill up more of it with the charcoal than anything. And the same goes with the charcoal. I need to tamp it down. And that's just to make sure it's seated in there well. I'm not really trying to break it up any more than I already have it. And then the charcoal will float if I put my water in there. So what I like to do then is I put another small layer of gravel. Not a whole lot. And depending on your container, you can put more in. And then some sand on top of that. And again, I want to tamp it down now. With the sand being on top, it's going to float up a little bit. That just means you need to be more careful when you pour your water in. You can use your fingers and your hands. Okay, the last step that I put in there then is some fresh grass. Now, you know, ideally you want green grass. Dry grass will work, but green grass is better. And basically all I'm going to do is kind of form a layer on top of this. One, this helps your media stay in there, and it also helps your media stay fresher, because as I'm pouring the water into it, this grass is going to catch more of the bigger debris, you know, the leaves and twigs and whatnot, and then this grass can easily be changed out to keep using the filter without having to recollect all the rest of it. Now, if you have it, a piece of cloth is great then to also pre-filter, and then you can pour it straight over this into it. But we're going to say that this is more of a field gathered one. Okay, I've got it set up here on the tripod, just simple hanging from a stick. Anyway, you can see that this water is pretty dirty, grimy, coming out of the culvert in the ditch. But we'll pour that through. You usually have to do it a couple times. The first time when you pour it through, you're a little too much water in. But the first time you're doing it, basically you're settling everything out of it, and it takes some time for it to get through. So I'll let this get started, show you the first product, and then we'll put it through again, and I'll show you what we get done when we're finished.
Yeah, as you can see, it's dripping away. Nice steady drip. You don't want it roaring or nothing. Pretty simple. It takes quite a while. If you can see the water flowing through the top there, it's kind of waiting there, and it's slowly seeping through, and you can kind of watch it go through the side. Pretty interesting. But we'll let that keep going, and then we'll check back with it. And also, I wanted to show the water I'm using. You can see how sedimenty it is and whatnot, the junk that's in there.
Okay, now that that's went through twice, we'll pull it out. It's still got some going through. It takes some time to get all of it through. We'll pull it out and see the clarity of the water is. This is the same water, back into the same container. And you can see clarity on that has improved quite some bit. Now, pour back in here. Catch the rest of the water. But now the next thing you do is boil it then. And I've got a small fire going here in a Dakota fire pit. And boil it up and I can drink it. That simple. So, let's see what you come up with, whether you use the same method I used or not. My challenge this time go around is for you to build a field-built water filter.